I've always been active as far as like a nurse is concerned. I've always helped people in general. So that part of me was always there. And even before nursing, like I was always the person to reach out a hand. Like if I saw somebody struggling through something or something I knew wasn't right, I would always stick up for these people. But as far as the activism part, I guess you could say, for me, it was George Floyd. I know throughout the years, I've seen numerous people killed and murdered, like right in front of our faces on TV, or like we talked about, like the news has talked about these issues. But for me, this was like very disturbing on multiple reasons, because as a human being, it was very difficult to watch that, but also as a nurse too, I couldn't understand how police officers are supposedly first responders. And they did this. On top of that, they did not check a pulse. The EMTs that came to the scene too didn't check a pulse. And I didn't understand the whole thing of it. Like it was disgusting to me to watch something like that on TV. And for me, that's what started. I was like, there's something I need to do. I went to several protests when it first happened. And then I said, I have to do something as well. Like I can't just attend. So that's where I was like, all right, I need to use my voice, even though I'm not a very outspoken person in that regards, because I'm more, I guess you could say, in the background part of a lot of things. That's just who I am, because I am shy. A lot of people don't believe me because of this, but like my friends and my family, when I first put the first protest together in August, they thought I was crazy, because they're like, are you sure you're going to be able to speak in front of these people? And I was like, for me, it wasn't an issue. I think just the whole movement has pushed me out of my comfort zone. Well, it was supposed to be actually on August 4th, because I wanted to be and it was at 6 p.m. So because I wanted it 8:46, like the 8 minutes and 46 seconds. But there was a rain day, so we had to do it the next day. But we had do you know who Community Music Works is? They teach music, like instruments and everything, to the inner city kids in Providence for free. So I had contacted them because AS220 actually mentioned them, because what I wanted specifically was a musical portion in the beginning during the silence of 8 minutes and 46 seconds. So it was actually a string quartet that did it, and we had 3 different songs playing during the 8 minutes and 46 seconds. And after that, we had different speakers, we had performers, and it was actually really beautiful and meaningful to what was going on. Literally, I had planned this for 2 months, I want to say, and I was calling people. I even had AS220 make signs for me, and for the event, I should say, and everybody was just so helpful, like wanting to get involved. But I was the person, like the sole person, I guess you could say, that organized and did everything with that. A lot of older activists, they're like, no, you know what you're doing, and they're like, you should be proud of what you're doing. And I'm like, yeah, but it's like, I'm not used to, I guess, that type of attention. And yeah. For me, it's not about the attention at all. Like it really isn't.
This isn't a rocket! No justice! No racist! Police! No justice! No peace! No racist! Police! No justice! No peace!
My best friend, Jessica, she lives in Barrington. She was born and raised in Pawtucket. Her parents are from the Azores. And Mel, she's my other friend, she lives in Bristol. And I actually met Mel through all these movements. So she's a newer friend of mine, but she's amazing. So Jessica, she saw what I did in August, and because she lives in Barrington, because I know how bad Barrington can be because I lived in Bristol for a couple of years when I was younger. And back before she moved there, I was like, you might want to rethink it, especially with your daughter being biracial, all this other stuff. And she's like, no, I'm still going to move. So she started seeing like little bits and pieces of racism there. And we went to a silent protest that they had before. It was great, but I was like, Jessica, they really need to hear us though, because I was like, silence is nice, it's a good gesture, but I don't feel like the message is being completely brought about with the silence there because they're kind of used to more of the quietness over there. So we planned it for, I want to say, about a month, the organizing part, getting speakers and everything like that. And since she lives there, because her daughter is in the school system, she specifically wanted certain things like more diverse classes and more like different education than what they have over there. So that was one of her demands that she wanted. And she also wanted the Black Lives Matter flag hung at the city hall. So that was actually done even before we even started marching. So I was like, oh, we didn't even need to ask them on that one. But the community, I will say, like, we did get a lot of support, but there was also a lot of negativity that came from it too, because I believe it was the following week, there was a Trump rally. Myself, Jessica, and Mel, my friends, we all organized it together. Mel has been doing a little bit more work than me because I had too much going on with the school, but it's called Nasty Women Vote, and it's in regards to, because Trump calls women nasty who vote. So so that's why we're all coming out, and it's all women or people that identify as women speakers, except the mayor is supposed to speak, but it's all about women's rights and our right to vote and just being women in general. So we're not actually marching at this one, it's just going to be at the State House, and we're going to have, there's a couple elected officials that are speaking, and then we'll be speaking, there'll be performances and music and stuff like that. It's at 1 o'clock. We'll be there for 12, so I mean, you can come early if you like to, but it's at 1. There is no set end time, it's just going to end when everyone's done speaking. So I would say a couple hours at least. I would just say to believe in yourself and your voice, because I myself am about to get emotional. I myself for a long time didn't think my voice ever mattered, and I see that differently now because people will listen to you, and you also do need to be careful with what you're saying. I'm realizing too, it's not that I've said anything out of line through these protests, but people are watching, so you do have to be careful with what you're saying. And I would just, if this is what you want to do, it does take a lot out of you, I'm not gonna lie. Emotionally it can be draining because of what we're fighting for, because it's not something we should still be doing in 2020, but it's still needed. And for those who really want change, I encourage people to come out, even if it's just for one day. I'm not a very political person in general, but I have never in my life seen so much hatred with one person and like what he's done to the country in general in 4 years. And you need to get out and vote. This is actually my second time voting. Because I didn't vote, I want to say, for the first 2 times, but I did vote when Obama was president. I voted this time. But I do think it's very, very, very important, because our voices, like I said, our voices are heard, whether we think so or not. And that is our voice. The ballot, us checking off who we want as president, those are our voices.